Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Ishan Sharma and you are listening to BITS Cast. On this episode, Hrishikesh joins me to talk about how did he get into Amazon, what was his experience of interning at Amazon, his experience of getting into competitive coding, what are the best resources, what should you learn, what you should not do. Everything in this episode around competitive coding and getting into interviews of big tech companies. Make sure that you watch till the very end. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already liked this video. And now let's jump into the episode. Hello Rishikesh, thank you for so much for joining me here for this podcast episode. How are you doing there, bro?
Hi Ishan, thanks. First of all, thanks for inviting me. It's an honor for me to be a part of your podcast, and I'm doing great. So yeah,
Great. Let's just jump right into the topic for today's video. I just want to know how you get got into coding and what all did you do in this journey of learning to code.
okay. So speaking honestly, for like I got into coding when I was in second year. Like
Okay.
really, first year was just like a hit and trial. Like I was fully exhausted with my 11 12 prep, so I was not in that much of mood of studying. But
Mm-hmm.
like after during my first year break, I made a project under various groups. So it was a
Mm-hmm.
hardware come software project, and at that time it really hit me, the coding part. And in second year I started learning the core topics of coding, so that's
Yeah.
where I started like getting my inclination towards coding and all.
Mm-hmm. And what was your first language that you learned?
Okay, so in college we were taught first language that was taught was C++, but
Okay.
before that there was a workshop in our college where we were taught about C. So
Yeah.
for that workshop I learned C, but other than
Mm-hmm.
that you can say C++ is my first language and it's my favorite language too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing because for me, I learned the first language for me was like I think Java back in ninth grade. So I used to bunk all the classes and used to go to the computer lab to learn Java. It was just crazy.
Wow. It's a good thing
And
that
then
you
I,
started from coding
yeah.
from like such a early stage. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I didn't have the resources, the guidance related, for coding in the early stage, and
Yeah.
I really wanted to go for computers from even my 11 12, but I couldn't do it. But it's okay. At the end of the day, it like everyone comes on the same page at the end of the day.
Yeah. That is also true. Like I went for for computer science in my 11th class also, but over there I learned C++. And then I
Yeah.
had to shift my school, and then the new school didn't have C++, or like they didn't have computer science at all. So I ended up taking physical education. So it was like one year
Okay.
was C++, other year was that. Yeah, that was pretty strange. But anyways, so like I want to know how did you get this opportunity to intern and interview at Amazon?
Okay, so our college has a good campus placement record. That's the best thing about my college that I can tell you. Like it
VJTI.
was real, yeah, VGTI. It's in Mumbai
Okay.
for those who don't know.
Yeah.
So, like, I was rejected by continuously five companies. Like, like I interned at Amazon. So
Okay.
yeah, so I like every in third year, starting of the third year semester, like most of the tech companies starting from Morgan Stanley, Samsung, SAP Labs, all these companies come to our campus for internship. So take usually from three students to 10 students in that range. Amazon was like least expected company to come because from it was not coming from last 2 years. It had a hiring freeze, but fortunately
Yeah.
it came, and I was rejected by continuously five companies. So it was a really bad
Hmm.
phase for me, and like I got into Amazon through campus interviews. So yeah.
Hmm. Okay. And what is the interview experience like? I've heard that there is in the beginning there is a test where they have some MCQs and that is for elimination of normal people, and then they
Yeah, yeah.
do some other tests. What
Okay.
is that experience like?
Okay. So telling about it is what was actually happening in my test was there were around 15 to 20 MCQs and two coding questions. Uh, following the general trend, one coding question was very easy and one coding question was very tough. So most
Mm-hmm.
of the students, like there were around 300 students for the test who applied for the test, and out of which around, you can say, 60% were able to solve this easier question. But the
Mm-hmm.
MCQs were of core CS knowledge like DBMS, SQL, SQL queries, Java, object-oriented programming, all these concepts. So the non-core, non-CSIT branches were not able to solve these questions, and that was the
Oh.
turning point, you can say, because like only the CSIT students could get through the interview, like coding round phase, because of the MCQs. So MCQs are
Mm-hmm.
an important part. Like usually we don't focus on it much, but when you see like around 200 students were able to solve the coding question, but only 19 got shortlisted for the interview. That's because of they couldn't solve the MCQ questions. So that's a big
That's
number.
a yeah, that's a big
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So like how would you advise someone to get into competitive coding? What would that be?
Okay, so first of all, telling I'm not a big competitive coding person. Like that's
Okay.
a true fact. I
You don't
just
have
do
to
it.
be. Like I used to think that
Ha,
you have to be like really good in competitive coding if you
no,
want to crack these
exactly,
coding.
exactly. Like that's my personal experience. You don't have to be that much good into competitive coding, a hardcore code chef, a code force coder to land into a good company. That's not true. What my philosophy is, like master your basics. In my interviews, not only in the Amazon internship interview, in my other interviews also, what I've seen is if your basics are strong enough, you can crack anything. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just a matter of basics. So what I suggest is, before jumping onto the computer coding and all that stuff, master your data structures, algorithms, logic, all that stuff nicely. Like if you have a good
Mm-hmm.
command over it, you can solve any, like you can adapt to new questions, you can adapt to new concepts very easily. So that's what
Right.
I feel ki you should master your basics first, importantly.
And what are the best resources for that? Like, would you suggest Geek for Geeks or some MIT open courseware course? What would that
Yeah.
be?
So a lot of students fall in this trap of courses. S- Personally, I haven't taken any course online. I joined an offline session locally. So he was a good teacher, but what
Mm-hmm.
I feel is, like you should not fall into this course trap, because the thing is, there's a bounded limit. Like you can't go, don't learn, like uh, like there's a limit of what you can learn. That's what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're overpriced. That's a true fact.
Okay.
Like 15 to 20,000 for a
Mm-hmm.
course, it's really not worth it. For what I
Mm-hmm.
think is, like if you're planning for going for like just a product based company interview kind of thing, you don't need to learn all the data structures. There's selected data structures that you need to focus on, understand them nicely. There are lots of YouTube channels on YouTube. There are lots of resources on
Yeah.
Geeks for Geeks. There are lots of websites
Mm-hmm.
on the internet where you can learn this concept very nicely,
Mm-hmm.
understand them, and learn to apply them. That's where the tricky part is. If you understand how the system works and how you apply it in the practical working systems, that's it. You can solve any question regarding it. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
suggest you learning key. Learn by doing it, and if you
Okay.
follow this technique, so you can like master into DSA, and within a good like less amount of time, and also without spending a penny. So that's what I
Mm-hmm.
suggest, like everyone. If you're getting a course for free, it's good, like take it. But before going on to paid resource, I'll really suggest you like think about it. And talking about the MIT open courseware, those are very lengthy. So if you
Okay.
have the
Yeah.
patience, and like the resource, like if you have the time to, okay, I can give you around 6 to 7 months of time to just to master DSA. It's completely up to you. It's a good choice. But what I feel is that level of knowledge like is required when you go into research level kind of thing. So, like, if you
Okay.
are aiming for just a job in a good company, I don't think so that
Mm-hmm.
level of research and knowledge is required. I'm not saying it's
Mm-hmm.
not necessary, but uh, at that moment of time, the thing is, I'll study it today. but I won't remember all that stuff. So even if I require
Yeah.
it to day after tomorrow in my job, I'm just going to go Google it, open some research paper, open some doc, and read it again. So why waste
Mm-hmm.
time right now? Like if you're going
Yeah.
to open it tomorrow also. So now currently
Mm-hmm.
focus on the basics, master the stuff, and understand it nicely.
Okay. Okay, Shikesh. And how do they judge you in an interview? Like, let's just say that you are sitting in front of the person that is hiring you. And so, what
Hmm.
is the process? How does the interview go about?
Okay, so this is a big misconception that people have, that interviewers judge you if you solve a question. No, they
Hmm.
judge your problem
Okay.
solving skills. So if you are
Mm-hmm.
good with how you approach a problem, how you try to break down the problem, how you simplify the problem, that's where an interviewer judges you. If you are good with
Okay.
that, it's very much likely that you will be selected. The thing is,
Mm-hmm.
what I follow and what I tell a lot of students is that break down the problem. Like even if it's a
Okay.
simple problem, like let's say it's a Fibonacci series problem, break
Mm-hmm.
down. Like
Okay.
break down in the first three steps. What's the input? What's the output? And what's the processing stage? Like
Hmm.
follow these good tactics. What they want is a good developer, not a good uh, competitive problem solver. So
Mm-hmm.
like you have to be a good developer also. You need to follow good coding. Like when you write the code, it should be really readable. Like don't just scribble your code in one line of syntax. It's not worth it. Write proper indent, give proper indentations. All those things matter a lot. Another thing that I tell a lot of students is test their code. Like people think, why should I test my own code? The thing is,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times you find your own mistakes and you can rectify them.
Yeah.
It's a very good practice. If you rectify your own mistakes, then the interviewer telling you, hey, you missed a point here, you missed a semicolon there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
if you rectify your own mistakes, the interviewer feels okay, he's checking his own code. That's a really good impression that you can put on the interviewer. Telling about my personal interview experience, it was a very simple code that was given to me, and
Okay.
I made some mistakes. But the
Mm-hmm.
habit of checking my code with some trivial test cases helped me to find that mistake without even interviewer telling me. So I told my interviewer,
Mm-hmm.
sir, I have written the code, but I'm checking my code with some test cases. So please give me some time. He said, okay. And I found some mistake. I told him, I found a mistake. I'm rectifying it again, and then I'm giving you the code. And he didn't even see
Mm-hmm.
the code. He was satisfied with my, like, the way I have written, the way I worked. He didn't even see the code. He
Yeah.
just took the paper away from me. So that's the good thing, like, about testing. So you should test your code. Like even if it's a small Fibonacci code, test it with at least two test cases. So
Okay.
that's what I feel. They see your problem solving. Even if it's a really tough question, don't worry.
Yeah.
Just break down the question, try to understand. If you are not able to solve, like, and don't run to the best case scenario answer. It's okay. Like first give, matlab, they are not asking you to write the best case answer in the first try. It's okay. Give the
Mm-hmm.
worst case answer. If you're not able
Yeah.
to think about more, the interview will help you. The interview is not there to reject you. He is not a terrorist sitting you in front of you. If you move, I'll kill you. No, it's not like that. They are there to help you. They are there to help you. If you are
Yeah.
good to them, they will really give you hints. They will give you tips, and talk to them. Talk to them a lot.
Okay.
Like tell them, "Okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing this. I'm doing that." They might point you the right direction also. So
Mm-hmm.
that this is what I feel about interviews from what that's this is my personal experience. So I'm not talking on
Okay.
behalf of any courses or any kind of things, any kind
Okay.
of
Yeah.
company. This is my personal experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so basically you have to think out loud. You have to explain your process of solving that code. Not exactly coming to the answer, but what is your process, right? So you'll be like,
Yes,
okay, I'm
yes,
doing
yes.
it this from the brute force approach. Then we'll try the
Yeah.
recursive thing. Then slowly we'll move up to the best solution out there.
And another thing is, break the problem in parts. Like, I'm just telling you the trivial thing. Let's simplify it into input, output, and process. But a
Mm-hmm.
complex problem can have multiple parts, like uh, simplifying the input, then simplifying the output. So all, like, just break it. It will be easier for you to solve. This is a
Mm-hmm.
skill. Like breaking a big problem into small problem is a skill, and that is very important. And the interviews surely look out for these skills in the interview student.
Okay. And were there any system design questions asked to you?
In Amazon, no. But in my
Okay.
Morgan Stanley internship interview, I had mentioned a database project in my resume. So
Mhm.
they had inquired, like they grilled me a lot on that project. So they asked me, how will you scale it to a system like fully deployable level? So at that time I didn't have any knowledge of system design, so I was like very miserable at that thing. But later when I studied system design, I realized that was a system design question. So it's very
Mhm.
rare for a system design question to come in a internship interview, but it might be
Okay.
asked in a full-time employment interview. And
Mhm.
if you are applying after some experience for an entry level, like after 2 3 years of experience, they'll surely ask you. And like this coming to Japanese companies like Rakuten, Crowdworks, they focus a lot
Mhm.
on system design. Like their focus on
Okay.
DSA is next to negligible. They directly
Mhm.
tell you, okay, you can find these algorithms on Google and you can just Google them, so we don't want you to do that. Tell us how will you design an elevator system, tell us how will you design a parking lot system. So they
Okay.
focus a lot on system design questions.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. And talking about projects, did you go into the development side of software development? Like, were you building any web development projects or mobile app projects?
Okay, so before my interview, I was not that much into development. I had just
Okay.
like made some really simple level projects, a database system project, and a Python script, and like some algorithm Python script. So I was not that much into projects
Mhm.
building a lot, but in
Mhm.
recent times, I have been building some projects. I am not that much into project building, like that, matlab that much. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's a good thing to have some projects, but it's not much that much important. The way, what they,
Okay.
why the interviewers and people like companies look after your projects is because you should have some practical knowledge also how to build a website, how to apply data structures in a website. So all
Mhm.
those kind of things they need to see कि have you done those kind of things. That's why they look after projects. So they are necessary, but they are not that important also.
Mhm. Okay. And what was your experience interning at Amazon? What all did you learn working in a collaborative environment with people?
Okay, so it was a great experience. Like it was, it started in May 2019. I worked there for
Okay.
almost 8 weeks, and it was really great experience. First thing that I learned was uh, the code base that we have in our, like what we have in open source or what we do in college and all, is very
Hmm.
different from what we have in industry. Like we
Okay.
have we have to think about such kind of things that will not happen in 1 million or 1 billionth of a case, but we have to think about it because it is
Okay.
going to happen. Even if it's a
Hmm.
1 in a million chance, it will happen someday or sometime. So we
Yeah,
have to
because you're
think
writing
about
scalable
all.
applications.
Yes, and
Hmm.
the thing is, testing, code reviews, all those things are very rigorous. It's rigorous in any product based companies. And
Hmm.
another thing is Git. So I was not very much good at Git, but the way the people use Git there was on like some another level. So build systems, like what we know of build system is Maven, npm, and all those kind of things. But every company has
Yeah.
like very highly efficient build systems, deployment, alpha beta testing, and all those kind of stuff. So it was a really, like I learned a lot about real life product development, software development things. So it's a really
Hmm.
different experience. And yeah,
Okay.
it was a great learning experience. And the thing is, people help you a lot. Matlab, I don't know if I was an intern, maybe that's why they helped me a lot. But they
Yeah.
help you a lot in like with my learning curve, and all. The learning curve is very steep when you join
Hmm.
a company. In the early days, you learn a lot of things. It's very hard to consume all that knowledge within 1 or 2 weeks. So I
Yeah.
really suggest, if you can grab a 6 month internship in product-based company, it will be really great for you. You will learn a lot of new
Hmm.
things. Unfortunately, my college doesn't allow, so I have to do a 2 month internship only. But six
Hmm.
month internship will be really great for you. You will learn a lot of new things, a lot of new stuff, and it will be great for
Okay.
you.
Hmm. And does do everyone get a PPO after an internship, or like what are the factors that determine that
Okay.
people get PPO? Yeah.
No, it's not like that. Everyone gets a PPO.
Mm-hmm.
It varies. There are various criteria. What at the end of the day, Amazon has a thing called intern review document or
Okay.
performance review document. So in
Mm-hmm.
that, a intern have to write his own, like what he has done in 2 months, what kind of projects he has worked on, what kind of technology stack that he has worked on, what was the impact of this project, all that kind of stuff. Then
Mm-hmm.
the mentor and the manager sits together. They discuss on this review. They discuss ki, was his performance up to the mark, was he good, and all those kind of thing. If they're happy with my performance, they can go for a bar raiser. And in that
Okay.
bar raiser, the bar raiser is a person who comes from outside the org, who doesn't know me at all, who doesn't know like even the manager or the mentor. He is completely an outsider who reviews my performance, who reviews my project. And if he
Mm-hmm.
thinks ki my work is up to the mark, I'm good enough, I'm offered a PPO. If I'm
Okay.
not up to the mark, but okayish work, they might ask for
Mm-hmm.
an interview, wherein they will take your DSA interview of just one interview, not much,
Mm-hmm.
max to max two
Okay.
interviews of half
Yeah.
an hour to 45 minutes, and they'll ask three to
Mm-hmm.
four DSA questions. And if you're good, you will be offered a PPO. If the bar is not that, like, not at all happy, then you are rejected. But
Okay.
all those things vary from team to team. Like
Mm-hmm.
some mates from my college, they were forced to give an interview, like irrespective of their performance. Like you have to give an interview, like. And
Mm-hmm.
if you perform, even some of them performance were not that good in the interview, they were selected, they were given PPO. So everything
Mm-hmm.
varies from various person, team to team. But the general structure that I told you is like, the first manager and mentor will review your work, then a bar manager will review your work, and if you're good, then you will
Mm-hmm.
be selected.
Okay. And I have one more question, and that is like, is it that internship interviews are easier than full-time interviews?
Yes, that's what I.
Okay.
That's my personal experience, because
Mm-hmm.
during my when Amazon came to my full time campus, the level of questions, the variety of topics that were asked in those interviews were very large. In my internship, I was asked only about DSA majorly,
Mm-hmm.
and another thing was object oriented programming. And the interviewer wanted to ask me about Java, but I didn't have that much of experience in Java, so I refused to have a discussion on that. But other than that, there was nothing that was asked to me in my internship interviews. But when it came to
Mm-hmm.
full time interviews, they were asked about operating system, caching, networking, system design, database, DSA. Even the problems
Mm-hmm.
that were asked in DSA were much difficult than compared to the internship interviews. So that's my
Okay.
experience with Amazon, especially. Like
Mm-hmm.
even when it comes to general, the questions and especially topics increase. Some companies
Mm-hmm.
don't ask about operating system clearly, like Google doesn't ask about anything else than DSA and system design. Even system design is not asked in Google, I guess. But some companies do ask a lot of things other than DSA in their full-time employment interviews.
Okay. And talking about Google, what was your experience interviewing at Google? You got rejected, right?
Yeah, so that the thing is, like after my Amazon internship, there was like a period of around 2 months where I was like in no man's land, because the
Hmm.
thing is that thing of bar raiser takes time. So at that time, Google was hiring in India, and of 2020 undergraduates. So I got a referral from someone on LinkedIn, and
Oh.
I landed an interview with Google. So the thing was, like, after a few days I got the Amazon job, but I said, at least why should we, like, I can get a interview experience with Google. It's like every
Hmm.
developer's dream job. So why not
Yeah.
give it a try? So I studied, but not up to the full efforts, because I had already one job, and that to a good job. So I was
Hmm.
not able to give 100% of my effort that I had. If I had given the all the efforts that I had given to Amazon internship interview, I guess I might have cracked Google also. But it's okay. I have no regrets about it. And another thing was ki I rushed my interview. I feel so I'll suggest don't do that. Take your time. So my interview was just after my final year, sorry, mid semester, sorry, end semester exams. So
Hmm.
around November, December mid, they were like my interview was there. So I'll
Okay.
suggest take proper time. Don't rush your interviews. So yeah, and talking about the interview, it was a good interview. It was a great experience. Like it was my first virtual interview, to be honest. So
Hmm.
uh, it's completely different from what we have a face-to-face interview. Face-to-face interview, we write a code on a piece of paper, but in a virtual interview, we have to write it on a shared Google Doc.
Yeah.
There you have to look up. It's not an ID also, so you have to
Hmm.
look after auto indentation, bracket completion, all those kind of things, and no like auto completion of code also. So
Yeah.
all those kind of I practiced a bit on those things. So we have to focus on those things also. And
Hmm.
the questions were, I feel like sometimes people overhype a thing, and that's what I feel about the difficulty level of questions about Google. It was
Okay.
okay. Matlab, it was like it was not like unsolvable, like out of the world. Matlab,
Hmm.
bus, yeah, I can't do it.
By the way,
As an,
are they
it was,
asking questions around dynamic programming?
so my question was on graphs.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
it was just one question, one interview. It was on graphs, and like what I have seen the interview experience of Google. I have rarely seen the dynamic programming questions. So if an interview is
Hmm.
very much like likes dynamic programming a lot, he asks he asks it a lot. But I have not seen dynamic programming a lot in Google interview questions. But the
Okay.
thing is, like, even it's overhyped. I feel कि Google interview is very tough and all. No, if you practice
Hmm.
properly, if you give proper time, you can crack Google also. It's not a big. It's really possible. मतलब, if you practice, if you master DSN nicely, the interview was really nice. Like writing it on Google Doc is a really challenging thing. Matlab, you have to explain what you're doing in a Google Doc. Like what you can do in pen paper
Yeah.
interviews, you can draw diagrams and do it. But drawing a
Yeah.
diagram on Google Doc, it's a really different thing. So somehow I
Hmm.
managed to do it. I solved the question, but the thing is, Google wants the best of the best. So I solved the question using BFS. It was a okay solution in like general cases, but in worst case
Yeah.
scenario, DFS was a much better solution. That was the interviewer's feedback. So
Hmm.
that maybe that was the reason I was rejected. I don't know. So yeah, but like
Okay.
that's what I observed. Okay, Google wants the best of the best, and it's okay. Like it was a great experience.
That's actually really nice to hear from you that it's overhyped and it's not that difficult to do it if you are practicing properly. That's
Properly
really nice to
practicing
hear.
and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Great, great. And then what was your how does LinkedIn help you out in this whole procedure for a developer? How does LinkedIn help you in with opportunities? That could be internships, that could be job opportunities. What is that about?
Okay, so coming to LinkedIn, I was not that much active on LinkedIn for like 3 years of my engineering. I became active
Hmm.
on LinkedIn in my final year,
Okay.
and like when I came to LinkedIn, I realized that I'm not doing anything because people are doing a lot of stuff. They are
Yeah.
doing virtual internship, they are publishing research paper, they are attending conferences, they are doing what not. And I was like, wow, like I missed on all of this in my last 3 years, and I really regretted it. So LinkedIn
Hmm.
is a really great place where you see what people are doing, and it pushed me. Ki, okay, I can also do this. Why not?
Yeah.
Like I can also do this.
Hmm.
I should also try this, and
Yeah.
I learned about a lot of new things. I came in contact with a lot of new people. Uh, I like became a Microsoft student partner because of LinkedIn. Because someone
Hmm.
told me कि this is all about Microsoft student partner. You can go check it out here. ऐसा
What,
वैसा.
what what is the benefit of getting into Microsoft Student Partner?
There are lots of benefits like you get to interact with a lot of quality personnel from Microsoft. Like
Hmm.
those are product manager, engineers in Microsoft. There's a very really vast community of Microsoft student partners around the world. We have like from every corner of the world. There's a lots of credits that you get of Azure. So you can build a really nice projects on Azure platform, Azure cloud platform, lots of
Hmm.
swags also, and lots of
Okay.
events, hackathons, and you get an opportunity to organize under micro student, organize various events in your college under the name of micro student partner. So it helps you build your leadership and speaking skills. So the benefits of it are immense. Like coming to the LinkedIn thing, I got to know about the GitHub Pro student developer pack. So
Yeah.
I I didn't knew it existed, and the final year of my engineering, I took it, I got it, and I explored almost all of it, all the things
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
I had.
It's actually really
Then
good because like whenever if you even
yeah,
if you have a startup idea, like even I did that. Okay, I was having a startup idea with my friends and we were like, how do we get this website up and running? So I looked up and I found out that opportunity, GitHub Student Pack, and I used that
yes,
to get the domain name and to host my website for free and just test
exactly.
things out. I think that's really good that GitHub allows you to do that.
And the thing is, like, I didn't knew. Matlab, I felt ki why didn't you like? But LinkedIn, that I understood about this through LinkedIn. So that's why I really appreciate LinkedIn. And like sometimes people say, ki, why are you posting your GitHub Pro subscription? But hey, like there are thousands of people who don't know what GitHub Pro. What's GitHub? They don't
Yeah.
know. What's GitHub Pro? They don't know. So let them post. Let them post, even if it's a trivial thing. Just post it, because you might think my connections know about it. Why should I post? But there are millions and thousands of people who don't know about it.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
like I'll suggest every developer, every student, be it engineering, like if you're in any kind of professional course, I'll suggest you to come on LinkedIn, because there are lots of things that you might be missing. There are lots of things you
Hmm.
might learn, and there's a great community that will help you out a lot. Like I got in touch with some really good entrepreneurs, startup owners. So people like published a research paper on blockchain, and people from New Zealand, Australia are getting in touch with me regarding that paper only through LinkedIn. Like if
How do
LinkedIn would have
you
not
how do
been
you do a research paper? How do you
okay,
publish it? Like I've seen a lot of
yeah.
students do this, and I'm curious about this.
Okay, so the thing is, my research paper was a fluke. That's what I feel. So it's that's what I feel about my paper, but it's not always the same. So what happened about my case was, it's my final year project. So in my college, we have to work on a final year project. It's like a part of our grading system. So we were working on it, and our mentor says ki there's a conference happening in Dubai. Its deadline
Hmm.
is day after tomorrow. So why don't you submit
Yeah.
your paper there? Why don't you submit? So we
Hmm.
work 2 nights, 2 days, and make a draft. Send it to our co-mentor, who is a French professor, IMT Atlantic. He reviews it. He
Okay.
sends a two-page Word document review, and
Hmm.
that's really bad review, because that was the first research paper draft. So we were like, shit, we are not doing it, because we had 6 hours left, and I'm not doing it, because 2 hours of the research paper was 6 pages and the review was 2 pages. So 33% of the page was under feedbacks, bad reviews, and all those kind of things. But
Yeah.
one of my teammates said, "No, Rishikesh, let's do it. It's a once in a
Hmm.
lifetime opportunity. Let's give it a try." And we made some tweaks, submitted the research paper, and we got selected. So, telling out research paper, how do we publish it? Firstly, pick a topic, pick a niche
Okay.
topic. Let's say
Hmm.
blockchain or machine learning, and find out where you think you can do something good. So I
Hmm.
took blockchain and KYC. There are already
Okay.
lots of implementation on KYC and blockchain, but I thought ki tweaking some of the other things, I thought this is a good idea. It will help. And the thing is,
Hmm.
what about research paper people feel is it should be really out of the box idea, $1 million idea, innovated. No, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Even if it's even if you are making a modified blockchain that can be run on a mobile system, it can be a research paper.
Hmm.
Research paper is finding something new. Even if the novelty of the system is even 2% or 1%, it can work as a research paper. So
Okay.
that's what I feel. You don't need a
Hmm.
practical working model for research paper. Research paper is just an idea. You feel ki like blockchain or Bitcoin was some idea. It didn't go into a production based system within days
Hmm.
when it was published. So uh, matlab, do people think like it should be a working model only if you have to publish? No, it's not like that. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, if your idea is novel enough, and if you have like properly framed it properly, it's more about writing skills than more if coming to the paper part. You have to write it properly. If you have written the paper properly, framed it properly, plagiarism is above 20 to 30%, then it's very much likely that your paper will be accepted. And if you're
Okay.
hoping for some really good conference, like top notch conferences, then at that time the idea, the novelty, all those things should be upped a lot. So all those things
Mm-hmm.
matter in a top conferences a lot. But if you want, like in general speaking, like even if you tweak some idea, existing idea into something new, you can publish a research paper on it.
Mm-hmm. That's really amazing to hear, bro. I have one last question for you, and that is, I see a lot of like the majority of the population of people listening to this podcast will be like 12 students or first year or second year students, and
Mhm.
they feel like the fact that they're not in IITs and they're not in the top tier colleges means that they won't get the opportunities to be interviewed and get into these the biggest tech firms, and
Mhm.
so that is definitely not true, right? What do you think about that?
So even I had this stigma ki
Yeah.
no, I won't be able to get into Google because like when you are in 11th 12th, what happens is coaching tells you कि IIT ही सब कुछ है, IIT नहीं
Exactly.
मिला तो तुम कुछ नहीं कर पाओगे जिंदगी में. That was the
Mm-hmm.
clear lines of my professors who told me in 12th
Ah.
standard. But trust me, getting a good branch in a lower level college, like if you get a CS, IT, or electronics branch in oth- other colleges than IIT or NIT, is much better than getting a metallurgy or a geotechnology or a very low branch in IIT. People take those branches very blindly, but trust me, my friends are literally regretting those decisions. One of
Mm-hmm.
my friends, she got into metallurgy, IIT Indore. So
Okay.
she's very much like she could have got into any IIT, not NIT, top NITs, but she could have got into a good NIT with CS or electronics branch. But she landed into IIT Indore, and she got metallurgy. At uh, trust me, even she was in IIT. She had to get an internship. She was very much inclined towards coding, so she had to get an internship off campus
Mm-hmm.
because the reason being she got a metallurgy branch because
Okay.
colleges don't allow uh, like metallurgy or lower level branches to get into internships. So don't think that IIT hai to IIT nahi to I can't do anything. And
Yeah.
telling coming to the second part, ki if you're in a lower level college, trust me, your skills matter. The college name is like it's a platform to help you land, but rockets can
Mm-hmm.
launch from India also, rockets can launch from USA also. So
Yeah.
it's just the same thing. Like USA sometimes sends the satellites to India to help them launch. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
same thing. Like you can like, that's what I follow. Keep it's okay. Matlab, you will have to just work a bit harder. You'll have to just pull a lot of strings, but you can land a good job if you land into an IIT. If you
Mm-hmm.
land into some another college, work hard, master the proper skills at the proper time, grab the opportunity that you get. LinkedIn, keep following, like be active on LinkedIn. There are lots of opportunities that come on LinkedIn. Just grab those opportunities, and like there are lots of online platforms also where you can showcase your skills, like Code Chef and all. If you
Yeah.
perform there really well, like last year, one of my in Mumbai, a student who is like whose college is not even in like the top 100 of Maharashtra, he landed
Hmm.
a job with Google. Or why? Because he was like the top coder in Code Chef. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like
Yeah.
college
I
is just
heard
a
that
platform.
news. That news came in the Dainik Bhaskar also. It was like person from top tier three college grabs like a top offer from
Yes,
Google
yes,
London or something.
exactly. So, like in my college, we have a technical fest. During that fest, he used to come for like coding events. the cash
Hmm.
price of 50,000, around 50,000. So he used to get around 30 to 40,000. He alone used to grab all those money every. That happened for consecutively 3 years. And while looking at
Wow.
the accounts, why this man is getting all these prizes? Like, is he doing some kind of cheating? But when I read that news in newspaper, okay, he deserves that.
Yeah.
So he's a really exceptionally great person, and that's the thing. Like,
Hmm.
you might not be great with chemistry or physics. It's okay. That's the reason why I didn't land up into IIT. But it doesn't mean that you are not great with problem solving. Personally speaking
Yeah.
about me, I lost IIT with just 1 mark. So I
Oh.
had I had really good I had good marks in JE Advanced, but my individual
Yeah.
cutoff of maths was not clear. So
Hmm.
like that's the level of that's how I was bad with maths, and that's how I couldn't land up into IIT. But some of my friends who got the same aggregate as me, and all the subjects were clear, they landed into IIT Indore, IIT like decent IITs. So
Yeah.
it's okay. Like, matlab, at the end of the day, I'm happy with where I am. So, like,
Hmm.
what's happened is happened. Just focus on the future, work hard, and practice the things properly. You will surely land a job that you dream for.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Rishikesh, for joining me here for this podcast episode. I hope the audience will be able to take something from this. Audience, if you want to talk to him, you can reach out to him. I'll have the links over here or in the description. Check it out. Yeah, thank you so much, Rishikesh, and I hope to talking to you again. Bye bye.
Thanks, Ishan, for having me. It was a great session. See you again. Bye.
All right, everyone. So that was the episode with Hrishikesh. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure that you go to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star rating for Bitscast. And if you've been, enjoying this series, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much. If you want to contact him, I have the details in the description. You can reach out to him on LinkedIn or on, Twitter and all. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and like this video. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.